Okay. So we are recording. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sarah Watt.
My name is Mark Kerr.
My name is Viv Adcock.
And my name is Saul. And we, Sarah messaged us and said, let's do a call to see what we can contribute to Australia and the world at the moment. Seems like there's a lot going on. So yeah, this call is about what we can contribute to Australia and the world and the earth.
And being interested in point of view about everything that's going on. So what contribution can we be by being an allowance of what's occurring and asking for something greater, and being aware of what the planet is actually requiring of us right now. So many people have so many points of view about what's good or bad or right or wrong, and trauma and drama of everything, rather than, you know, what can we be to contribute to something greater? And is this the mutation of the planet?
Yeah, and the reason really, like, Mark and I are both overseas at the moment. We're in Europe, in Italy, and I also, like, it's, you know, I grew up in Australia. I've lived in Australia my whole life, and I do travel a lot now, but also just realising how much we're all connected to Australia and the planet and each other as well. And that's why I thought, like, jumping on a Zoom together, I mean, there's 147 of us on here now, but 148. But if we... like, I was in Italy, and I was waking up every morning with this really, like, that feeling you get when you're really anxious and nervous about something, and my throat was really dry and sore, and I was sort of asking questions and really became aware of how much I was tapped into Australia and what was happening there with the fires and the animals and the earth and all that sort of stuff. So really what I wanted to do with us four together, I mean, we're all Australian, we all love that country, we all love the world, is to just see, like, what's possible when we all get together and are willing to be with the energy and tap into it and ask questions. So and this can go anywhere. If you guys have something you want to look at or ask questions about, let's do it. But if you guys don't mind, I'd like to just have the first 10 or 15 seconds for all of us to tap into the earth, to tap into Australia. And however that looks for you, if you want to close your eyes or keep your eyes open, but really have that sense of, like, allowing your energy and your being to tap into Australia first of all, and the whole country, and realize how easy it is. Like, the moment you ask for this, you're already doing it. Anyone on here that's done any access, you practice this in the very foundation classes of access as well. If you've never done access and you're here, welcome. It might be a bit crazy what we're about to talk about, but go with it. I promise there's nothing bad's going to happen. Yeah, but if we can all just spend like 10, 15 seconds tapping into the energy of Australia, and then once we're there energetically, to then just spread out and start really tapping into all the parts of the world at the moment where there's shit going down and things changing and, you know, whatever's up and whatever's required. And to just ask the question of, like, once we're there and we're tapped into all of those places, to just be interesting point of view with whatever's coming up. And you don't need to know what that means, but if you can ask, okay, whatever this is, interesting point of view, I have this point of view about the energy or whatever that is that's coming up. And then for the duration of this, like however long this goes for, and then even afterwards, like, I've just been listening to Brendan on the COP in Turkey, and he said something to a lady who was asking a question, and he said, energy never ends. You know, we'll get off this call or whatever comes next in our day or our evening. The energy goes on. Like, whatever we create here, we can keep creating. We don't have to be on a Zoom together. This is an awesome place for us to all start. And what if whatever we are willing to be here together and create right now, we can just keep creating and keep being in the world forever. And everything that doesn't allow the ease and the space that you guys can perceive right now, because for me, this feels like this is a very easy and yummy energy that we're all tapped into right now. Like, everything that doesn't allow us to have this all the time available to us, let's destroy and uncreate that too. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And I'll shut up in a second, I promise. The thing I think that I was feeling very nervous and anxious about was tapping into like where people get a little bit traumatic and dramatic about this stuff. And, you know, you go onto Facebook or look at the ads and stuff like that, and there's this sense of angst, of anxiousness about everything. So what can we all be and do here as well to create a different, to shift that energy as well and use it to create something else, not make it right or make it wrong, but really just to tap into it and use every energy that's available to us to create something greater. And there's one more thing I'll ask of you guys as well is, can we also tap into all of the animals, whether they're the animals in Australia that are being affected by the fires or wherever? Like, there's been fires all around the world. There's been all sorts of different things going on. If you guys don't mind, can we also tap into all of the animals and just let them know to move, to get away from whatever's going on, and just tap into that place where they're super aware of the earth and what they know, and override us stupid people with stupid people bodies sometimes, and go with what they know, to move away from the danger or whatever's occurring for them, and to know that they can get away from it if that's what they desire to have and be as well.
And also, like, for any of you that haven't done something like this before, it's like, what power and potency are you all, and are we all, when we tap into this energy? And it's like, how much greater are we all when we're all willing to contribute to this and contribute to creating something different? And if it's something that you've never done before, what if you could just allow yourself to know and to be what's possible right now?
I was reading something that, Saul read something out in a class that he did last night about, you know, the planet is consciousness, and the only real problem are the people on the planet that function from unconsciousness. So what if expanding consciousness is what the earth is requiring right now? And to quote Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, he said, consciousness is the ability to include everything and judge nothing. So everything that we're hearing and watching and seeing, whether it's friends and family that have been affected by the fires, or whether you're on Facebook or watching the news somewhere on the other side of the globe to Australia, everything is fueling that disaster and catastrophe and wrongness. And, you know, the firefighters, we've got to fight the fire. And it's just, well, what capacities do we have if we can be that place of allowing what's occurring, but asking the question as to what else is possible? You know, what does the earth require? It is a living, breathing organism. And Gary talks about, you know, walking with the earth. It is a living, breathing organism. And today it struck me how delicate that balance is. You know, my partner said, okay, you know, once the fires have gone through and whatever animals are left, what are they going to eat? You know, I read today that there's an area the size of Belgium that has burned in Australia. So, you know, and that's probably going to increase over the next couple of days. So, you know, it's not just the fires, but it's also how the earth regenerates after that. And if we're willing to have a space of consciousness and allowance and contribute to the earth, we could bring the rain. We could contribute a totally different energy that the planet is requiring right now to wake us all up, you know, and to bring in more consciousness and to get us to just stop being complacent and apathetic about, oh, she'll be right, mate, you know, and it'll be all right. Well, what's the planet asking and demanding of us by having to turn the volume up and be this intent to get us to be aware of our choices and the future? This is our planet, you know, these are our waterways, these are our farms and farmers and everything. So what consciousness can you be, and also, even if you don't know what that means right now?
Yeah, and building on that too, Viv, like, even if everything that's being created here is based on energy, like, you know, if the fires are an energetic thing, if everything that's being created, even when the fires go out, the energy goes on, like whatever's being created here goes on. So it's also like, where can we use this to create something greater? And what if it was never that anything was wrong, that the death of, you know, there's a lot of animals that have perished in these fires. When you make the death of things the most significant, it kind of creates this place where things can't continue on and keep changing. So what if it was also this place where whatever's being created now is a generative energy to creating something bigger and greater in the future as well, which, like Viv and Saul talked about, if this is something heard of before or never heard of before, it's you don't need to know it for it to be easy and to be changeable and to be true for you. So yeah.
And you know, this thing of ask and receive, for anybody that's on this call, whether they've, you know, learned anything about consciousness or the tools of access consciousness, ask and receive has been around since God was allowed. You know, so what if we ask what the planet requires? What if we ask for rain? And you know, a lot of people are putting a lot of time and energy and effort into the drought and, you know, how terrible it is, rather than, well, what if we went in a different direction and asked a question, hey, rain, would you come and nourish the planet and create it to be this verdant place again? Would you help replenish and nourish and regenerate? So by asking the rain to come, you know, I mean, for years and years, centuries, the natives have done rain dances, and they've had ceremonies and traditions that actually are known to bring rain in. And yeah, the white fella can make a bit of a joke about it, but you know, what else is possible? So if you were willing to ask for the rain to come and the moisture to come, what could that contribute as well?
Totally. The thing which I get out of everything which has happened, obviously in the last few weeks in New South Wales has been terrible, but also in Queensland, is what's right about this we're not getting. Because what I'm seeing and the energy I'm picking up is that there's a lot of people who are contributing to things which they never come into their mind before, which they never thought had anything to do with them, whether that be just going next door and helping the neighbour who's lived there for the last 5 years, but you don't even know his name, or coming, you know, the fires may have come to your area and now they're saying, you know, what contribution was this to our area, as bad as, you know, some of the results may have been, and what can it contribute to the future of the area, whether that be the regeneration of the forests or the bush, or, you know, in some ways, how has this contributed to the animals to make the species stronger, to introduce new things which, you know, there's people which have gone through some absolutely horrible things. I get that, but it's just the thing of there's more than material things now. There's more than having the lush green grass or the fancy car, because you couldn't control maintaining those things with the fire. So how has this contributed to greater, not to the planet, and to growing consciousness and to the people around you who realise these things now, that, you know, this has happened. What can we do now to create greater for everyone around us?
And it's like the Dane talks about it a lot in his classes when they had the big hurricanes in the United States, and there was a guy who lost absolutely everything, and they were interviewing him, and I think he was basically just had the shirt on his back and nothing else, and was talking about how they were like, how can you be like happy like this? And he's like, well, I've still got me. I've still got. So like where can we also tap into the energy of relaxing and receiving of whatever's going on at the moment and whatever the earth requires at the moment as well? And I think I was reading a post this morning by Sarah Andros, actually, and I know she's on here. She was at the beach and asked the earth, which is also a great thing. Like, what if every day or every time it came into our awareness, we just asked the earth, hey earth, what do you require of me right now? What can I contribute to you right now in these 10 seconds to create whatever will, you know, exponentialize and create greater for everyone and for you? And just go with whatever that is. And she mentioned the relax and receive thing as well. And this is something that's come up in Access a lot lately, relax and receive, which I was like, what the hell does that even mean, really? And the thing that gave me the awareness of it the most was when I tapped into the earth. I was like, okay, what is this relax and receive? And then I was like, if you tap into that energy of the earth, like we did at the beginning of this, and really just were present with the earth to me is the king, queen, everything of relax and receive. Like there's nowhere where everything that's going on on this planet at the moment. If you tap in to the energy of the earth and really sink yourself in energetically to every part, right deep down to the core, you know, out around the atmosphere, in all of the planets, in all of the oceans, there's nowhere that the earth, there's no tension in there, there's no stress, there's no angst, anger, rage. Everything feels like ease and joy. And the earth is the one actually going through all of this as well. We just so happen to be the lucky ones that get upon this earth every day and spend time here. Also having that place of really asking the earth what it requires. And most of the time for me, and I don't know how it is with you guys, but the earth wants my joy and happiness and laughter. So, you know, where can we like help our neighbor and be that for each other? And where can we also be that for the planet too?
One of the other things, Danielle Roccatulli was yesterday she ran like restoration of communion with earth and invited people to do that. It's a simple body process that you guys can do by putting your hands on someone's feet and on the soles of their feet and just saying restoration of communion with earth run. And they had rain in Victoria like that night after running that body process. So you know, I think it's also like, because this is something that's occurring like globally as well, more and more, and so it's also looking at like what can we develop as beings that can contribute something different to these situations wherever they're occurring around the world, and like increasing our capacity to tap in energetically around the world and contribute whatever's required. Because it's like, yeah, we're all here like in it together, and it's like it's our planet, and yeah.
There is no planet B. You know.
I love that, Saul. Thank you. Because when people talk about waking up, like the earth doing this shaky thing and waking people up, like 9 times out of 10 for me, I go to the places where the people waking up people who are choosing unconsciousness. But what about also waking up us, the people that are actually, you know, everyone that's on this Zoom, there's 175 plus of us here now. Like, how much can we energetically wake ourselves up and each other, the ones that actually have the capacities, like Saul was saying, to use this and change some things as well. And the other thing as well is involving our bodies in this, because obviously the reason we're on this earth is because we inhabit our bodies. Like, that's the whole pleasure of us being able to enjoy this place so much. Like, what can our bodies also contribute? And that's why that, you know, restoration of communion with earth and having your bars run and doing body processes can also have that space of it being part of the contribution of everything as well. Like, what also can our bodies contribute here?
Exactly. And something which pinged with me, I know Gary spoke of it a while ago, I can't remember if it was called like the nature walk or something like that, where I think it was 50 meters.
Yeah.
And take an hour.
Yep.
An hour to walk 50 meters, and just to be aware of I suppose, I know when I did it at the beach, the smell, the sounds, the smell, the sounds, I suppose it's just the energy of what is around you, and to be able to actually walk at that pace. I couldn't do it straight off myself because I had to walk quicker, but when you actually slow yourself down and get the sense and the energy of all that, and I suppose gratitude pinged with me on how amazing. I mean, I was only in a small part of the beach near home. How amazing this planet is, and the earth, and I suppose what it's willing to contribute to us to be in that place of ease and joy and happiness, and it's just from receiving from it. I mean, to have something which is willing to give that, and being willing to receive it is absolutely amazing. And I don't want to go down the track of how the minority of us are doing our best to fuck that up for everyone else, but it's the thing where if there's enough of us getting that energy, getting us that sense of gratitude for how absolutely amazing this planet and the earth is, whether it be snow on the mountains, sand at the beaches, or amazing bushlands or forests, wherever you are, that energy and gratitude and ease which contributes to you is something which you could never ever put a price on and never want to sell or anything like that, because it's something which should be available to us all, and in more abundance than what we could ever imagine. So
Yeah, thanks, Mark. And also,
maybe you just want to do that.
Sorry, have you finished?
Yeah, I was just going to say, maybe you guys, anyone who's on here or listening to the recording wants to try that again.
And just, thank you for mentioning about the gratitude, because, one of the greatest things that is killing our planet is judgment. What's good and bad, what's right and wrong. So, gratitude, you can't be grateful and have judgment at the same time. So if you find yourself judging, just look around you. What can you be grateful for? And even people that have been through these fires and they may have lost everything. They're grateful they've got their family around them. They're grateful they've got a community. Grateful that they've even got, a roof over their head. Some of these people are in, buildings that have been put up as temporary shelters, but they still have this incredible sense of gratitude despite everything that they may have lost. So, what can you be grateful for today? Exactly. There was a gorgeous story, and my partner's parents were evacuated in the middle of the night last night to the local showgrounds, and she said, there are people there with rabbits and dogs and horses and all sorts of stuff, and she said there was this 17-year-old girl who had come with her pet mouse. She rescued her pet mouse called Tiddles, and she said it was just so, and she found great delight in, the fact that this 17-year-old had saved her mouse, and it's just those things, the joy that you were talking about earlier, Sarah, of, somebody else was there with some rabbits and their dog was going crazy because it's used to chasing rabbits around the paddocks, and eating them. And now this lady's bought, 6 or 7 pet rabbits that are just at the end of this dog's chain. It's like, what do I do with these things, But they were finding humor in this. They were having that sense of lightness that despite everything that was going on around them, they were coming back to this place of, what? Like you say, at the end of the day, we've still got us.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I can be quiet too.
Cool.
But if you're in the middle, hopefully, okay, is this working? Okay, good. I'm going to go in an area. I was just going to say, so I was realizing, I've made it kind of significant oftentimes. You can hear me still. What's happening on the earth, and I've often put it outside of me, like everybody else can fix it. And there was a point a couple days ago where I just got that I could do something, and I just closed my eyes. And because sometimes people think, oh, only the firemen can do it, or only people that are, everybody else is more potent. But I just closed my eyes and I just said, okay, what can I be? And I did do some clearings ahead of time, like projections, expectations. And I said, what can I be? And I just was present with it and started moving. And I get we all just have these awarenesses when we just ask, okay, what is this? What can I be in this moment? Like you were saying, gratitude or joy or whatever. And I had this surprising thing occur where it was fun and play, and I got to talk with clouds. And so I don't know, I get we each have this capacity, but we always think it's outside of us. And so I just wanted to say I'm grateful for you guys doing this.
Yep.
I just wanted to say hi.
Thank you, Sylvia. You're amazing. Thank you. And that's so what this was really about. It was exactly what Sylvia was saying. It was like I was asking questions, and this is what I got a hit on to do. So, there's a lot of people in the chat asking, well, what can we do to change this, and what can we do to change that? Guys, this is where you all know something here. Like when you ask a question and you get a hit to do it, whether it's to jump on a Facebook Live with someone, whether it's to call a person and do something together, or whether it's to just close your eyes and do it by yourself. Like this is where each of us has this capacity and awareness to know right now, for a long time, the whole the whole mantra or whatever you call it of access is empowering people to know that they know and to know what they know. Like, what if it was just that too? The minute you guys get a hit, exactly what Sylvia was saying, like the firefighters are doing their thing, you know, the wildlife rescues are doing their thing, like everyone's doing their thing. What's your thing? Like, what do you guys know? What are you aware of in that moment when you ask the question that you can energetically contribute or actually doing the doing of contributing something as well? Like, you might get a hit to go somewhere and rescue someone or help someone with something or help an animal out or something like that too. So I'm so grateful for all of you for being on here. And what about like what we were saying, when we get off this, where do we go now? What else is possible? So yeah,
I was just going to say, and your thing, however small or insignificant you think it is, may just exactly be what someone else or something else requires in that 10 seconds, which can change their day and the planet as well. So, you know, it's not insignificant. It's not small. It could be the greatest change which someone or something actually requires. So,
and if you know SOP, like Simone's talking about doing SOP sessions, like do some SOP with the earth, do maestro with the earth, do ESB energy with the earth. And if you don't know what the fuck any of those things mean, it doesn't matter. You guys know energetically. Just ask the question, hey earth, what do you require? Tap into that energy and just play with it and have the joy of whatever that is for you in the moment as well. So I know, like, I don't know if you guys get a hit of something right now. Energetically for me, I would just love to do what Dane has come up with lately called a 1-2 blah, which is like basically just whatever that is energetically that we can change right now together. So if you guys want to do that now, I would like to do that. So yeah, everything, whatever the earth requires, whatever we can all contribute being here together, 180 plus people. If you're watching this in the future, whenever it comes up, whatever energy we can change, let's do it on 1, 2, blah.
Blah.
Thank you, Simone. Simone joined in our 1, 2, blah. Yeah, so I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to look at, Viv, Saul, or anyone else that's on here? Like, you guys are amazing.
I just want to say, like, it's so great to know that there are so many people like around the world that are like on this call and also willing to contribute, and everyone else that we're also like tapping into and receiving from. Thank you so much. And it's like, yeah, it gives me like hope, and it's great. So thanks so much, everyone.
Yeah, and thanks, Sarah, at the beginning when you said, you know, just take, a few minutes or whatever it is, just to reach down into the earth, touch the earth, connect with the earth. Like I said, it's a breathing, living organism. So when we receive the earth, what does that shift? You know, we've tend to, I think so many people have used and abused the planet and become so disconnected from it that this is a way that, hey, we're going to have to reconnect to the earth. You know, even the farmers in the future of balancing the soils or watering or whatever they're going to do. The earth is asking us to reconnect to it. So energetically putting your awareness into that and just going, hey, you know, is there anything I can contribute today? So, and the earth walk as well, Mark. Thank you. I'd forgotten all about that.
And also, guys, if you live in a big city and you don't have access to a lot of nature around you, ask for the buildings to contribute. Ask for everything to contribute. Like, it's not, you know, we're so lucky in Australia. We are surrounded by a lot of beautiful nature. And I also know a lot of people that live in really, really big cities. So anywhere you are in the world, what if we could wake up the consciousness in everything, wake up the consciousness in the concrete, in the bricks, in the automobiles, in everything. Like, what if we could be that walking, talking mechanism to wake up the consciousness in absolutely everything, and ask for that to start contributing to whatever the earth requires and whatever is required to create greater.
Exactly.
Can we do a couple of 10s before we go then as well?
Yes, we can, Saul. Lead us on a couple of 10s, my friend.
All right, so on 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
It's big.
And what will it take for consciousness to be the dominant source and for stewards to step forward?
Exactly. And how this whole call, Zoom, whatever it is, was created, we were just sitting here and Sarah said, hey, let's do this. Are you in? I was like, yeah. She's like, I'll see if Viv and Saul want to contribute. And she's like working out days. Oh, maybe within the next 5 days or something. And Saul's like, no, we have to do it tomorrow. Boom, we did it tomorrow. So whatever you've got going on.
Don't wait.
Just do it. And it came together so quickly. And we've got so many people here. And also Japanese and Italian translation last I heard. So thank you very much for you ladies for contributing so quickly and just putting your hand up and saying, I want to be part of this and get it out to even more people. So I should have slowed down a little bit with the translation. I always forget that.
You were excited.
But thank you all. And thanks for everyone for coming on and share it and do whatever.
I was so excited. I was up at 7:30 this morning and I went in. I'm at a class this morning and I went in and said, hey, we're doing the Zoom, and he's still in bed. He goes, it's 7:30 tonight. I went, well, I'm doing it now. I'm ahead of time, apparently. A capacity.
You're a futurist, my friend. You're a total futurist. Thank you, everyone. Adore you guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you somewhere in the box.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Bye, Simone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Bye, guys.
Arrivederci.